Hi there, my name is Dan Harris and I thank you for joining me. I'm going to be talking with you today a little bit about retiring, planning for your retirement, and in particular planning where to live and also how to live. Now this could be appropriate for someone who you yourself are planning on retiring fairly soon, or it could be if you're looking for on the behalf of a family member, mother, father, grandparent, something like that. There are a lot of decisions, a lot of options out there, a lot of things to consider, and sometimes it can be just overwhelming. Quick background on myself: I have both an undergraduate and graduate degree in the healthcare field and have worked in that field for a long time. In the last little over a decade, about 11 years, I worked specifically in the retirement community industry in the San Diego area. So I have a lot of familiarity with retirement communities and the process involved and what some families and others go through in trying to make this decision, and my job here is to try to help that decision be a little bit easier for you. Now, one of the big topics, and it's one that quite frankly should be fairly high on your list, and that is, how much is this going to cost for me to move into a formalized retirement community setting? And the costs can really be all over the board. It really depends a lot on what type of community that you plan to move into. It also depends on how you structure that. And what I mean by that is some facilities offer programs where you can move in with fairly little money down, almost no money as a matter of fact, and a higher rate of monthly payment as you go. Others, on the other hand, offer a program where it's a fairly sizable down payment or an upfront payment, and the monthly rates or the fees are reduced considerably as a result of that. Now, an example would be, there are some facilities in the San Diego area that are fairly well known that to move in, the initial cost might be upwards of six figures. It might cost you $100,000 to $120,000 or more to move in. Now then, correspondingly, usually a monthly fee would be based on, you'd receive meals and programs and other things of that nature would be included with that, and that can be in the vicinity of $700, $800, $900 on up to maybe as much as $1,500 or $2,000. Again, depending on the range of facility that you choose. Now there are others that do very little money down payment, but then have a much higher monthly rate. In fact, some, again in the San Diego area, which I'm referring to, can be upwards of $4,000 a month. That type of setting typically would be advantageous to someone who maybe doesn't plan to live there for a long period of time. Now, I don't mean that to sound morbid, but if someone is already well advanced in years, maybe starting to decline in terms of their health or having health issues, or maybe they're planning this facility to be kind of a preliminary step and then they may eventually move somewhere else. That option would be advantageous for them, to not have a large down payment up front and to just go on a monthly or an annual basis. Now, if you are on the younger side of retirement age, in your early to mid 60s perhaps, very good health, very active and so on, and you probably will reside in a community like that for a long period of time, then the first option would probably be a better one, where you pay a fairly sizable chunk up front, but in the long run it becomes more cost effective because your monthly fees are significantly reduced. So hopefully that helps you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what type of programming and things you can find at communities like this, and that'll help narrow your choices down. So again, thank you for joining me. My name is Dan Harris, and if you want more information, please go to my website at retirementcommunitiessandiego.com. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.